They're running this back into a truck.
Well,
God knows what they're doing with it back there.
Look, the same thing I had in their gear was handled your gear.
What?
Did you know if Mal got the 5:30 slot? Do you know if Mal got the 5:30 helicopter slot?
Little Jeff will fix it. That's what he does.
Okay. We're ready. Are they going? Are we running? Okay, we're starting. How did you guys first become involved with Nordhoff Robins? Did you become aware of it like years and years ago and get in early? Or?
The first involvement we had was when we were awarded the Silver Clef.
But were you aware of the organization before then?
Not really, to be honest. I think that
I sort of heard vaguely about the music used in therapy, but not specifically the Nordhoff Robins thing until, well, as you said, until the Silver Clef thing, which was very early days, actually. Which was, you know,
it's quite a while back.
Have you actually been to see how this technique works, or can you report anything firsthand to us? Do you know what the?
No, at the dinners, which the lunches rather,
Yeah.
where they do the awards. You know, we always get invited, or the previous recipients get invited, and they do auctions for charity and things like that. I mean, there are parents of some of the kids, which are quite moving in the speeches. They come up, so you see that to that extent, and obviously there have been a couple of things on television about it. I've not actually been. I don't think I've been to one of any of the actual workshops.
Knebworth as a festival has a pretty good name in England, does it not? Isn't it? People look forward to this. It's like a famous thing, right?
Well, it kind of. I think it stopped for a while, didn't it? I'm not
it
sure
took some years.
It's not a regular thing.
No. It was regular for a few years, then it stopped.
They weren't sort of really festivals, though, as such, were they?
No,
They were more just sort of gigs with one act with kind of doing it, and then sort of got a few other people to do it with them, rather than
we did it.
Yeah, and Stones and things.
Yeah.
It's not like we used to have festivals here in a place like Reading, you know, which was sort of, you know, more like a festival as you understand it. It's a series of bands all about the same sort of.
What was it like when you were in '78? Was that an experience you look back on fondly?
It was a good gig, but it was
cold.
As you see, there's a sort of natural valley that comes down to the stage, and the wind whistles down it when it's cold.
A natural valley.
Well, didn't we play at some strange time of year?
October.
What was that, Milton Keynes? It was
Milton
something.
Keynes that was October.
Yeah.
It was cold.
It was just cold.
It was in the middle of the English summer. Of course, it was cold.
Is it difficult for a group like you guys? Sound is really, really important to play outdoors. I mean, you just figure it's all getting
Just
lost
speaking
out
to us,
there.
having done the most strange, grueling, horrific sound check known to mankind. So yes, it is strange. It's about 8 bands, all of which consider themselves more important than the other, and no egos. It's just that they've all got a lot of equipment. They all want sound check time.
Yeah.
We haven't played for 4 years, apart from 2 hours yesterday.
Yeah. Sounded real good for that.
Huh?
You sounded real good for that.
Thanks, but equipment, doesn't always respond to treatment.
Yeah.
And we didn't do half of what we wanted to do, so it's really,
So tomorrow will be a surprise.
Certainly will be for us. A surprise if anything works.
We were listening to you throw Everybody Needs Somebody to Love and Pinball Wizard out there. Have you ever taken that all the way and just thrown in every possible song you could?
Well, we used to chop and change quite a lot with that medley.
Yeah.
That's the one we ended up doing last. It baffles a few people because it doesn't seem to be traditional Genesis material, but in fact that is what we kind of grew up listening to, isn't it?
Yeah.
And to us, it's part of what we do.
Yeah. Do you guys have any private lives at all? I mean, you've got all these solo projects going on. You've got Genesis going on. Do you ever get home to see the folks or anything like that?
Yeah, it's not as bad as it seems, actually. Some more than others.
Yes.
I take my folks with me, so.
Yes, that's a good idea, isn't it?
It is varying degrees. I mean, I think I'm in the middle of 2/3 of the way through a 9-month tour, which didn't sound like it was going to be 9 months because there were some gaps, but because I had some trouble with my throat, we've had to reschedule gigs, which made the gaps shorter, so it's pretty much continuous.
Yeah.
But we do, yeah. I mean, it always seems like we're busier than I think we are.
Yeah. Isn't it difficult for you guys to have, I mean, you're writing for solo projects and you're writing for Genesis. Do you sit home and think, well, I'll keep this one for myself? Or is everyone very generous with each other?
Well, not really, because Genesis, for the last few years, have made albums we don't take material in anymore.
Yeah.
Now we're kind of working so much. Now we're working, that's Tony's heart, that's tragic actually. Now we're working so much outside, we kind of save Genesis for the actual act of writing together, which we do when we go in there. So we don't need material for jam sessions.
Yeah. Is something like Knebworth one of the few chances you get to see like all the other folks that are on the bill here? I mean, McCartney and Plant and all that. Is it like old home week or?
Well, it is nice to see, you know, because there's a few people I haven't seen. Clapton, for instance, for months.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've seen him here, and all the guys in the bands. Yeah, a lot of them are friends of mine.
Yeah.
In his band, I mean, and you don't get a chance. A lot of people, I think we all us musicians that live in England hang out with each other all the time. You know, in fact, we never see anybody unless you're actually physically working with them.
Yeah. Are you involved in this jam session? You're in that, aren't you? In this jam session thing that's going on?
No. Oh, no. You mean there's a supergroup?
Yeah.
Well, they call it supergroup. That's a phrase from the 70s. It's basically it's the band that Eric Clapton and Elton John and Mark Knopfler took to Japan last year. So it's no, it's not really a jam session. They've been rehearsing quite hard for it.
How do they sound?
I've not heard them.
Oh, okay.
But I saw them at the Albert Hall, and then
That's them nice.
it's all ready to go.
Yes. That's how they sound.
They're really good. Yeah.
Little drum heavy, but
So you're off on in the middle of this tour. What are each of you doing at the moment?
I'm in the middle of a Mechanics album,
Uh-huh.
which I hope to finish.
sometime for the end of the century.
Which I'll finish October, November to come out early next year.
Yeah. Tony?
And I'm writing another record, which I'm going to record hopefully later this year. And so that will be coming out sometime after
Before the end of the century.
Yeah, same time as it. Whatever day every other album's coming out, I'll release it. That's what I normally do. You know?
I saw a very strange thing on television. There was a fashion show in Paris, and there was some reporter covering it, and they were playing Another Day in Paradise. And while these models are going down the runway, this reporter was just incensed about this. He said, "Can you imagine playing a song like this for a fashion show?" Does it appall you when people maybe just don't even get what songs are about?
I didn't know anything about this particular incident.
No, you didn't.
But that Gianni Versace, who is a fan, uses my music, uses Clapton's music, uses people's music that he likes.
Uh-huh.
And if it has a mood, he uses it. He used In the Air, and I think he did use Another Day in Paradise, if this is in fact the same incident.
Might be.
But they're just songs. I mean, I think it's quite decadent in some respects to sort of have a song about what it's about, with people walking down the catwalk wearing thousands of pounds worth of clothes, you know. That doesn't exactly ring true, but so it doesn't get my nose out of joint. I mean, it's one of those.
We're trying to do a special on sex in the 90s and people's attitudes toward it. Nothing salacious, no TNA or anything. But we're trying to find out what people found sexy when they were kids. Like when you were 13 or 14, what was a sexy thing for you? Was it an actress, or is there anyone in particular you thought was really sexy as a kid?
Breasts.
Yes.
Always the traditional
changed.
element, but
Still do.
but anyone in particular? Or?
Anyone?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Alma
Kogan once.
Alma Kogan, God.
I was about 6 then.
I think you're on your own there.
Shirley Eaton was.
Yeah.
She was great.
True.
I had a crush on Shirley Eaton.
How about Kathy Kogan?
Yeah.
That's breastfeeding.
Twinkle.
Twinkle is another
Don't
one.
worry about your
Twinkle.
sometimes.
Twinkle. Who was
Twinkle, yeah, she had a song called Terry. About a
She used to wear a
motorcycle.
lot of black leather.
Twinkle? You got me there.
Like
I
a
don't
terrier,
know.
black around the eyes.
Jeez. Do you remember, without naming names or anything, your first sexual experience? Most Americans think of it as a disaster, something awful that happened in the backseat of a car. I wonder if it's the same for English people.
Still
or
waiting for it. Yeah. I don't know.
I
First.
remember it.
I think I remember it, yeah.
What was it
I
like?
was on my own, of course.
I mean, was it a success or was
Sounds
it a catastrophe?
It was kind of in the middle, actually.
Yeah.
Could do better.
And have done since, I'm
We
sure.
have to wrap this up. We just asked them who their
I didn't get a chance to talk about mine.
Oh, they're wrapping it up.
This will be over in a minute. Okay. Who have you been listening to recently that's really great or has really turned you on? It could be anybody. You know, jazz guy, a pop guy. Is there anybody really impresses you out there?
Well, Blue Nile.
You sound like the Blue Nile too, actually.
Hats, wonderful album. And also Benny Goodman. I've never heard Benny Goodman before
Really?
until about 6 months ago, and I went out and bought a couple of his CDs.
What have you been listening to from him?
I don't even know what it's the greatest hits, I think. Benny Goodman. It's great. I just
Charlie Christian or something?
I got a
or?
big band bug in Japan. I went out and bought all
Yeah.
these CDs and Count Basie and things like that. Great. I really like listening to it.
Okay.
I've listened to nothing but Mike and the Mechanics for the last 3 months, so I'm open to any suggestions.
The group's biggest fan. And you want to, and I...
Our artist ID, can you say hi, we're Genesis, and you're watching MTV? Just into the camera, please.
Together, we haven't done this for a while, have we?
No, we haven't.
Oh, 3 years later.
Try to get the harmonies sorted out first.
Which camera?
Okay.
Okay, this one there.
Which one? Oh, that one.
After
Okay.
3, right?
Okay.
Hello, we're Genesis.
Hello.
And we're watching. And you're watching. 3.
Hello,
we're
we're
Genesis.
Genesis.
And
You're watching MTV.
Also, did I cut you off when you were talking about your favorite sexual experience, or your first
No,
one?
you did, but it doesn't matter because
Who's peaked?
in my mind it was a wonderful experience. But it's probably better in my mind than me relating it.
I think so.
Could you do one quick, this is Genesis, welcome to the Week in Rock, it's for our show.
Week of Rock.
The Week
Yes,
in Rock.
that's it.
Hello, we're Genesis. Welcome to the Week of Rock. Okay, guys, handle that. 3.
Hello,
we're
we're
Genesis.
Genesis.
Welcome to the Week of Rock.
World.
The World of Rock. Sorry.
World of Rock, yeah.
Is it the World of Rock?
No, Week of Rock.
Week of Rock.
You guys vote. We need the generic one more time, because it came out with no laughing. Anyone that's talking, please. Sorry about that. It's real fast. Sorry about that. Second.
Which one is this? Watching MTV.
Hi, we're Genesis. You're watching MTV. Yeah.
A bit faster.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. 3. Hello,
Hi,
we're Genesis, and you're watching MTV.
Not that fast.
You said fast.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Need to be self-contained, you know. So if I say
You may be wondering why
yes,
you asked me that question.
yeah, all right, and then
essays. The reason why I want to go walking at night is because
yeah, that stuff.
Come,
Thanks.
take a sleigh ride with the snowbirds. Startling expose of youth sucked into this white powder of the world.
you make it for a minute.
Can't do it.
Been working out, have you guys?
What?
It's been working
Have
out.
you got wet hands?
This is
Dry
the,
hands.
This is the wrong hand.
I bet he drinks
dry
Carling Black Label.
All right, the level. Here's my
Yeah,
level.
right.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to talk at this level. Phil, will you give us a
Hello.
eggs and bacon? Mike,
Hello,
please,
hello,
if
hello.
you will.
I'll talk about this level. Good. Twice
So-
as loud when you start. Yes. Cameras are warming up.
Getting in phase.
This is a new one for me. That's they're not ready somewhere else in it. That's the mobile's not working.
Okay, running a lot, stand by now. Okay. And away we go.
First of all, if you will explain, there are only 2 of you. Now, there is an album called And Then There Were 3. There's 2 at the moment.
2 will do.
There are only 2 of us.
No, Tony's he's got a slight problem with his keyboards. And he's on. It's more important really that he's actually on stage at the moment fixing it.
Yeah, we did a sound check yesterday and it didn't work then. And that was bad enough, but getting an hour before the show and before our part of it anyway, and it's not working, so he's off screwdrivers.
Right. Well, we're sorry he's not here, but I'm sure he'll hold his part up anyway.
He doesn't say much anyway.
Why are you doing the concert for Nordorf Robbins Music Therapy and the Brit School for Performing Arts, Mike?
We've been involved with Nordorf Robbins since about '78 when we first got the Silver Clef Award, and we've done various charity shows and raised money at certain times for the charity over the years. So we've been involved with it for quite a long time. And as the helicopters fly overhead, and the last pocket of resistance, let's battle on.
Now that's Genesis, but Phil, you've received the Silver Clef Award yourself. So I said that's Genesis, but you
Tony leaving, actually. is what it is.
Exactly, Tony leaving. He's had enough. The keyboards don't. Well, I'm going home. He said. You got the award yourself as a solo artist as well. So you're both performing as a band as well as an individual. Perhaps you could talk yourself about the acceptance of the award, Nordorf Robbins, and the Brit School for Performing Arts, because you went to a drama school yourself, didn't you?
Yes, I did go to drama school. This the school, I think, was an idea that I think George Martin and Richard Branson came up with originally. And I think it's quite a nice idea that in America there are, although the series fame brought it to people's attention in some respects, but there are schools like that which cover wider areas than just the drama schools in this country. And George Martin, when he came up with the idea, remember we was at a Nordoff Robbins lunch, and he said that he wanted to give the young musicians the same kind of chance as the young actors in London, you know, because there is nothing like that where you can go there and learn your craft. You basically teach yourself at home and then go out and do gigs, you know. So that's really the idea for that. And if that was to take off, it'd be quite, you know, a good thing to have that available for young kids.
Do you think that artists have a responsibility to charities and to the future of to this charity and to the future of music education?
I think it's their choice, but I think if they feel they want to put back, they should do. I think you look back to the early days when I know we as a band struggled, and lots of people, actors, writers, go through tough times. I think those that have done well, the more they can help to assist in the early stages and encourage young artists to come on through them, the better, I think.
I think there's a lot of cynicism about musicians getting involved with charity. I think a lot of people maybe resented the fact that as a byproduct of Live Aid, for instance, a few of the artists who were involved in Live Aid, the records went back up the charts, and they started to look at it cynically as if everybody did it for self-promotion. I mean, I did Live Aid on both sides of the Atlantic, and I know that was completely accidental the way that happened. I mean, I didn't think I was going to be the only one. And now in terms of people interviewing me, they always say, you were the guy that did both. How did it feel? You know, I didn't feel anything at the time. It was just a logistical exercise. But, you know, it's become a dirty word, or as if we're all holier-than-thou characters. I mean, I think the bottom line is that we earn a lot of money from this business. We're putting a little bit of that back, quite a lot of it back in some respects, and bringing to people's attention certain things that could be helped, and maybe on the way embarrassing a few governments into doing something, in the instance of something like Live Aid.
Just staying on that subject, you know, of the success some artists have had and the sort of cynicism that's being thrown around about them appearing and performing. It's certain that some bands' careers have succeeded tremendously out of charity performances.
I think in America, on the American side of Live Aid, there was a lot of political backstabbing to get on the bill once it was decided once it was seen to be such a big event. I hadn't personally come into contact with any of that. I mean, I only know that when I was trying to find out when certain people were going to be on the bill, there were a lot of, you know, like, put me on here, otherwise you're not doing my tour, promoting my tour next time, that kind of pressure. But I know why I did it, and I know why the people that I knew who were on it did it. And it was for the reasons that, you know, we all know. And that was because just to try and draw people's attention to and raise money for the situation that was at the time.
This third question, which I have to ask you, and you've sort of answered it yourself, Phil, so I directed it at you, Mike. Have you done anything for charity in the past?
Yeah, we've done various shows in the past for Nordoff Robbins and for other charities. I mean, it's very often British Trust. Very often you try and divide out constantly. You say this show is for charity, and you divide it up with different charities at the time. And we've done that quite a few times. Yeah.
One of the Wembley shows that we did, in fact, we split up the proceeds between us, and each of us had a pool. All that money went directly into a charity pool, where we could then take it straight out, funnel it straight out to the charities that we were all necessarily individually involved with, you know. So we kind of have been at the sharp end of this, and that's why I get so angry when people look at it with tainted glasses. There may be some people out there that do it for the wrong reasons, but fundamentally, the people that organise it and most of the people that perform on it are doing it to raise the money for the charity concerned, or the reasons concerned.
Individually, your careers have